And don't worry, it's only facing the corner, so you can do whatever you want. Okay. All right, we are live. Hello, welcome to another episode of I'm Going to Soil Myself. I am Amber Carvaly, Mortician in the Kitchen, and I am joined by, let you guys introduce yourselves.
Melissa Meadow, the modern mortician.
And I am Sandy, the Radical Reaper.
Yeah. I just got an exciting delivery from my partner. We're gonna do a live unboxing of what is in this envelope. Very excited. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, wait, I think I have a drum roll in the media thing.
Yes.
I'm a terrible host / producer. All right, here it is. Wait. Okay, let's see. This delay really makes it really sells it. I'm gonna open it before the drum roll starts. Come on, Wi-Fi. All right.
No, it already happened. The drum.
I know it did. There it is. I am officially a licensed or ordained minister, as every good licensed and or ordained minister knows how to say that correctly. Yay! That means that I can marry people. Look at this. Oh, this is my clergy tag. All right.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'm gonna wear my clergy tag. By the power vested in you, this is my how to officiate a wedding. I have officiated so many funerals, and now I can officiate a wedding. And what's this? This is my credentials of ministry. This is to certify that Amber Carvaly, that the bearer hereof has been ordained on this day, the 9th of March, 2023. And I did this. This is my white girl protest to Tennessee, and them fucking not letting people deny people who love each other to get married. In case of. I think it's BS that anybody should deny anyone from getting married. Everyone should be punished with the joy of marriage. It is a delight. Why take that away from anybody? So this was my I didn't want to just repost about me being angry. This was I wanted to make a difference. So now if anyone in Tennessee is denied the right to get married because somebody is a jerk and thinks that two people of the same sex or interracial marriages, it just blows my mind that that's a thing that someone could be against. It's astonishing. Anyways, now you can contact me and I would be happy to marry you. So that's my news.
Yeah.
Keep my clergy tag on. All right.
Some superheroes have clergy tags.
Some of them do. Yeah, it's very exciting. This would make my really racist grandpa so angry and really delights me.
Yes.
All right. So why are we here tonight? What brought us together? Why are we gathering?
Because as typical, we're mad at the patriarchy and now I got this email. I was in the process of trying to handle starting some of my classes, which apparently started today. I'm very prepared, as you can tell. I got this email and it was like, by the way, there's a Zoom session tomorrow. Do you remember this whole law thing that you're trying to do and be involved in? We're going to have a hearing tomorrow. Here's a link. BT Dobbs. Hope you can make it. And it just kills me because we already got so far and we got pulled back from all of this natural organic reduction business because the State Board of Morticians claims that it shouldn't be happening, environmental impacts, this, that, and the other. And I'm just tired. And I'm tired of having to fight and do all these things. And people, why? Why can't we just get married? And why can't we just have natural organic reduction? Why does it have to be this hard? And, it's not impacting anybody. It's just a new method of disposition. If you don't want it, don't choose it. We're not taking anything away. We're not taking anyone's rights. So, it's not like all of a sudden you're not going to be allowed to use a traditional casket anymore, or embalming is going to make you explode if natural organic production becomes legalized. I don't understand.
Yeah, it is really it is really weird because it's always like, well, this is about our freedom. And I'm like, isn't that ironic? So you understand what the word freedom means. The freedom to choose what you would and would not like. Well, I would like to choose this form of disposition, or I would like to choose to marry someone of the same sex or of a different ethnicity, or I would, I had someone was complaining about abortion. I was like, well, here, I can solve your problem for you. Just don't get one. There you go. Problem solved. Don't like abortion. Don't have one. Don't take these rights away from other people that need them, though.
It was great. I went to the local morgue, and I was talking with someone and getting a tour, and we got to a part of the morgue, and he was like, this is now the fetal side, because Maryland is one of the few states around on the East Coast where abortion is still legal. There's been such an influx of folks coming here for abortions that now we have to literally hire extra medical staff in the morgue to help compensate.
That's bananas. Oh my God. Ugh. I assume that that's probably what's going to happen in California too, which is what I try to tell people, is that like, when people don't think that things affect them because in this moment it doesn't, it's like, well, one, it will affect you when it starts getting like, how do you say, like bottlenecks, like if everybody around us doesn't have access to something and we're the only ones that have access to it, they're all going to come here, which means when you need it, you are not going to have access to it. It's a supply and demand kind of thing, guys. So
yeah. And again, like you said, if you don't want an abortion, don't get one. But the chances are, a woman who has had an abortion or needed an abortion for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And if you care about the people in your life, then you should hope that they have access to the safe medical care that they need when they need it, regardless of what that may be.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make this a completely different episode in the future, but we're on it now. So
yeah.
As morticians that have seen fetal demise, we've been called to pick up at the hospital. I've been called to pick up at Planned Parenthood before, because despite what some people think, say the baby has no skull and it's not going to be a viable birth and it's only going to give mother and baby trauma, there's an option to terminate the pregnancy in cases like that. And these parents wanted a baby. So they want to make plans for the next chapter. So we see all these educational pictures, and we were raised on these educational pictures that, and it just grows. And I can tell you it's not like that at all. And I was actually kind of shocked when I first saw even an 8-week, tissue to 20-week tissue, the difference in what it looks like.
Yeah, it is really, it is interesting. It's like trying to find all the, yeah. We saw that thing in Texas about the 2 women who are being sued for, did they provide their friend an abortion pill? Is that what happened? Remember I sent it to you?
Yeah,
I
you sent it to me. Yep. And so the
Yeah.
ex-boyfriend or something is on it. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
God forbid. And what's terrifying is the court might actually not rule in her favor.
I don't think that they're going to.
It's ridiculous to think about. Like, we're like, oh, haha, that's hilarious that you could take someone to court for that. But no, like, I don't think that it's going to go well for her. I don't think it's going to go, or these women, I think they're going to end up getting prosecuted for helping by their friend with medical care.
They are. It's really scary, because I was reading something else that was talking about, like, and to relate this to death, to health, and not just, abortion and medical care, that they were saying, I forget if it was Texas again, and I don't want to just pick on Texas, because I do wholeheartedly believe that there are a lot of good people being held captive there right now. The doctors were like afraid to, because it was like, oh, there you can perform an abortion if it is going to save the mother's life. And now they're just like, well, we don't, we don't know if this is life-saving. We don't know if she's at that point yet. And that is really fucking terrifying, that a doctor could just leave you on a table or just like leave you in a state where he's like, you do seem sick, honestly, Sandy, but like, how sick? Can you look at the little picture of the smiley faces? Are you this one, or are you like the guy going like this? Like, how bad is the pain? That's horrific.
Yeah. And in places where, I think about because, I'm from Baltimore City and the inner workings of the hood. And even though Maryland has top-notch hospitals and phenomenal medical care, what about the people that are in the hood and don't have access to, you've got a doctor that's seen 150 other patients today, and,
Yeah.
it's for a lot of communities that it's going to be even worse because, it's just terrifying to think about. And then we have our government, which is sitting around fiddle farting. I don't know. We should be allowed to use natural organic reduction. I feel like let's take this to one more hearing. One more testimony on that, please. Wait a minute.
I know. I always
couple
feel
more hours.
It's like I always feel like stuff like that makes me sound like a conservative, because I'm like, oh great, we're gonna waste more tax dollars figuring this out.
No, it's true though. It's like, wouldn't we could be focusing on helping to train people on providing safe medical care, or how we can distribute food to people who don't have it. We can be helping to provide access, but instead we're like, you know what we should really focus on? This petition from the State Board of Morticians.
So what is the sorry.
Give us a little bit of the backstory on what you found out about aquamation or water cremation being legal or not legal in Maryland that led you down this path of natural organic reduction getting legalized in Maryland, because it's my understanding you're pretty much the only person that's spearheading this out there. Am I wrong?
So there is the folks and I really, really do not want to mispronounce her last name. But there's a lady at Congressional Cemetery in Washington, D.C., and her name is Lily. And she is a huge driving force in what is happening in Maryland right now. I do not want to mispronounce her last name again. I believe it's Burkle. It's something along those lines. You'll have to forgive me on that. She is also working on this here in Maryland. She is located in Washington, D.C. But I was interested in all of this because supposedly aquamation and alkaline hydrolysis is legal in Maryland. However, there's no real regulation on it. So if you reach out to like the Office of Cemetery Oversight in certain places, they'll tell you that it's not legal. And then some people will tell you that it is legal. There's no one in Maryland that has a machine that's providing the service for either humans or pets. So it was always, and so I kind of wanted to get the scoop. I'm like, okay, well, what's the deal? Is it legal? Is it not? What are the regulations? And I'm being told now that it is. Again, we're back to the it is argument based on the fact that Maryland define the way that we define cremation. Supposedly the way that the law is interpreted, it doesn't signify that cremation must be done by flame. And I was like, okay, cool. So now we're attempting to add natural organic reduction into the law as well. And originally what I had proposed to legislation and delegation here in Maryland was that we just alter the definition of cremation in general. Haley from Earth Funeral Homes has been so kind. And she shared so much information and so many different materials that she'd used to help get natural organic reduction legalized in other states. So we had proposed a model that was very similar to what's happened in like California and Washington and Oregon. And we were proposing creating, a similar model. And things were going well. We were going to propose things to the House of Delegates. we were in, people that were interested, and the State Board of Morticians decided that they really, really, really didn't like this idea. So they got involved, and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. We don't think that this should be an option in Maryland, and we're the State Board of Morticians. So a little bit of backstory about Maryland too. So our crematories, regardless of flame cremation or water cremation, are regulated by either the Office of Cemetery Oversight or by the State Board of Morticians. And the determining factor in which body regulates your crematory is what percentage of that facility is owned by a licensed funeral director. So, if we, for example, owned a crematory, it would be operated by the State Board of Morticians. And then if, my partner were to own a crematory, it would be operated by the Office of Cemetery Oversight, and she would still be able to do so. The argument that this bill is proposing is that the facilities that are utilizing natural organic reduction are strictly overseen by the State Board of Morticians, which is going to be a little bit of a problem if the State Board of Morticians is wholeheartedly against natural organic reduction. And so now we're kind of back at this wall. And it just all feels very convoluted, and I'm not quite sure. We had gotten so far with a certain bill, and then something happened. We were blocked in some manner or form. I don't know the deep nitty-gritties, but, someone from the State Board of Morticians was obviously involved. Maybe not even the State Board necessarily in it of itself, but someone associated closely with that body kind of blocked in a manner. And I'm really, really grateful that, that we have Congressional Cemetery and Lily and other people working on this, but, it kind of put us back at the block. And now tomorrow, I believe the meeting is with the Health and Occupational Board, very long name, but it's exhausting. And again, no one has a really good reason why. It's all under the guise of environmental reports that are supposedly being done. And when we sat in the meeting with testimonials, a lot of the questions that delegation was asking was, well, what do you think natural organic reduction is going to do to the groundwater? Okay, well, what is embalming doing to the groundwater?
Right.
Did you ask,
Yeah. Are they willing to hear though? Are they even shutting that? Are they shutting that conversation down, or are they allowing that to be part of this? Look, this is the runoff from embalming. So if we are okay with that, then I love Kermit is just quietly sneaking into the corner. Are they listening / hearing that argument, or are they just no, shutting it down, not entertaining?
Some are and some aren't. It sort of depends on whose ear you've got in the moment. Maryland, I believe in freedom in all forms, including religious freedom. But Maryland is a very majority Catholic state. I think that sometimes it can be a very hard thing to grasp your head around when you're not talking about things in the realm of traditional funeral service. So people, when the conversation starts to happen around embalming, anything that you say in a negative light can very quickly be turned into, well, if you're against embalming, then you're against my tradition and my values and these things that, people in my family have been doing for years. And that's not what I'm going for.
Right.
So then it becomes then you're all of a sudden trying to backpedal and be no, I'm not insulting your religion. I think you should have the right to embalm if you want, but I'm also trying to answer your questions here.
Right.
So, and in a way, I think that happens on purpose.
They're gaslighting you.
But still, it really depends on who you're talking to here in Maryland. I will say I am very, very proud of the fact that our state has some really, really phenomenal, strong women in office. And a lot of these young ladies are very open and compassionate, empathetic, and willing to hear, even if they don't necessarily agree themselves, they're willing to hear our side of things.
Right.
So I am grateful. I do think that, I think it's going to happen in Maryland, but I think that we are going to have to jump through every single hoop humanly possible to get it there.
Yeah.
I think that this is just the beginning of the fight. And I think that things are going to keep getting pushed back before we get anywhere close to having this passed officially in Maryland. The goal was to hopefully have this bill be ready and like in office so that natural organic reduction could start in October.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way things are. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't exactly necessarily be able to actually start in October because there's nobody out there offering it yet, right?
No, but we've got folks that are interested. So if this becomes available as an option, I don't think people will be too far behind. At least one group of people in particular, too far behind in making it available here.
Do you know what they want to open as far as like a composting or like natural organic reduction facility? Because I know we discussed in other podcasts that maybe we haven't released yet, like the different techniques that different companies are doing. I know I've talked to Jill a lot about it.
I was about to get into it.
Yeah. Do you guys, I like know about it, but I'm definitely, that's not my wheelhouse. I'm not educated enough on it to speak confidently other than like, I composted my garden. Is it the same thing? I know there's like a form of a cremulator that still happens.
Let me tell you what I know.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody's all jumping on this natural organic reduction thing. I'm not 100% sold on it personally, but again, I think it should be other people's choice. If you want that choice, go for it. It's not going to be something I choose for myself. So we all know Recompose entered the space.
Right.
Katrina Spade pioneered all of this, right?
Yeah.
And then one of her investors or something like that didn't like the answers that they were getting. And so they stole a woman entrepreneur's business plan and started on their own. I won't tell you which one that is, but it's really easy to figure out.
Oh, yeah.
That same group also stole a whole bunch of intellectual material from truly. Well, I gave it to them because I thought we were friends, and then they didn't credit me, so that's how that went.
The old I thought we were friends. I think we're all familiar with that song. I thought we were friends. Yeah.
Oh. Pose. There's Walt out in Herland Forest, which is in eastern Washington. He and Seth in Colorado with the Natural Funeral do it similarly. Okay. And that Seth came and visited Herland Forest to see how Walt did it outdoors at a natural burial park and emulated that in Colorado for Colorado people. Okay. And if you Google, you'll see a couple different vessels. You'll see the honeycomb thing, which is a plastic facade. It was in their first facility. I don't know about the second. They're not really keen on letting the modern mortician in because they have fans like somebody else. But so there's the honeycomb wall. There's another one that has tarps that come down with trees on them that have refrigerator boxes looking things or freezer box looking things behind them. But outdoors, they have their wooden structures with big wheels on them, kind of like back in the 80s when, patio furniture was one of those big wheels that had cables on it at one point. And chairs. It's like a big wheel kind of thing. And so the body is placed in on top of a mixture of like wood chips that's natural to that area, which is something I'm not familiar.
You froze.
No. But it's natural forestation from his area. It fills it about 2/3 of the way full. The body goes in unclothed or covered in paper clothing because you don't want to deal with cottons or anything like that because they're going to take longer to break down. And then they put more mulch on top of the body and then it rolls down this thing that's like 10, 15 yards long over time. And it can take 9 months when it's outdoors because you're dealing with natural elements. The facilities that are indoors, like Earth Funeral, is the most technologically advanced. You've got Return Home, you've got Recompose. They're all indoors. And where is their material coming from? I have heard that one of them brings it all the way from Canada.
Oh,
So
wow.
they're bringing non-native species or material in when there's plenty of forestation going on in our backyard that we could be utilizing. So it makes me question some things, but it's indoors. It's like a 3-month process or 2 to 3 month process.
Right.
And after the 1 to 2 months in, they're monitoring the time because they don't want it to go anaerobic. They want it to stay aerobic, which in
Right.
scientific terms means smelling like decay and not smelling like decay.
Yeah.
So at that point, they dump the material out. I don't know. Well, okay. I have read in the plans that Recompose has an auger that turns in their vessel during the process. So I believe that they're doing this next part that I'm about to talk about. But this next one will dump it onto a conveyor belt. And if you've ever seen those TikToks that have like the metal crushers that can cars and stuff, that's what goes into it. So it crushes the bones and everything will fall through. And then that gets placed back into the vessel for another month to completely break down those fragments of bones now that have been broken down. I believe one of the other companies does another sifting process and cremulates them.
Okay.
Not 100% sure on that, but I've seen with my own eyes, 2 ways it goes.
Well, and I feel like we should take a moment to interject when people, like, if anybody like listens to this and is possibly horrified by the idea of bones being like smashed or pulverized, and pulverized is like the wording used in the state of California, that it is illegal for us in the state of California to return anything that is recognizable. And so that's really, really important, just as like a quick, like if people are like, wait, a funeral director or any human would do that, is because we are legal. We legally have to. That is part of it. That has to happen. Your skin and your hair and all of that will break down or burn, but yeah, bones they're hardy. So they have to do that. I was confused about what Katrina's did. And I was trying to find out, and I didn't know if they were like kind of at this point, I think maybe just saying like respectfully, like not telling people if it was like sort of a proprietary thing. So I say this with no air of incredulity, or like I'm not accusing, I'm more just stating like, oh, I am sincerely curious but don't know what they're doing. But I like the process. I think it's really cool. That's definitely like, I mean, I think I'm like right now I'm pro alkaline hydrolysis. I think that's my favorite thing. What are you doing?
That peanut was a little hard. I mean,
you're like Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11. You're like in every scene, you're always eating something.
Had a rough month. Okay.
You ever notice that? Brad Pitt's like every scene, like Brad's like eating something. It's very
smoking something, drinking.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the natural. I think that it should I think it should exist purely because I think people should have the option. Yeah, I don't know that that's what I would choose, but
I really feel like the providers should be way more transparent about it. Of course, I've told somebody that before. But yeah, they should like be very open and honest about the process, because that's how you're going to make people more comfortable about it.
Right.
Like, half the time people think ashes are burnt body, like ash. It's not. It's bone.
Yeah.
Y'all, oh my God. Has anybody else caught the TikToks or the news? The news is TikTok about the body part smugglers, like all those oddity shops that had all these skulls and shit, where they were really coming from?
No.
Oh, here in the U.S. Let me googly.
Oh dear.
Tell you about it.
Are we gonna be
last year or year before when that guy Jeremy? He had a TikTok. I don't know. He did some of the oddity stuff. Jeremy Cohen. He got in trouble for procuring a body from a body brokerage firm.
Okay.
And doing a live autopsy at a La Quinta Inn or some shit. Or Radisson or Holiday Inn or something. And charged people money to come and watch this autopsy. And this was at the beginning of COVID, right? So people were masked and stuff. They were just starting to get out again. The
Right.
decedent had COVID. So everybody again was like,
Oh
and
no.
then, I think it was Nurse Hadley. She's on TikTok. Precious. It was somebody related to a family she took care of or related to a family member of hers that was dissected, and then name was all over the news as being this cadaver that was dissected in a public forum.
How did he get away with that? Like, how did he just not tell the Radisson? Like, he was like, yes, Radisson Inn, I have a conference. Don't ask any questions. And they were like, sounds good to us.
Yeah, I have a medical conference.
Well, I guess he wasn't lying. It was a medical conference.
That's okay. The director of the anatomical board here in Maryland had a mummy. Had a mummy. He's not the director anymore. I don't know if you guys have heard of the name Ron Wade. And the mummy was obtained, and he did the mummification. He performed the process on a human body. The big conspiracy is the family was never informed that this was happening with their loved one. So there's a mummy of somebody's loved one that belongs to the anatomical director. I'd imagine that he keeps it's in his possession somewhere on his property. It's not in any museum or in any of like the medical schools. So it's just his mummy that he owns and has that is an actual human in the state of Maryland, which I can only assume is a human that either was indigent or donated their body to science, because that's where the bodies at the anatomy board of Maryland come from. You're either unclaimed or you're donated.
Yeah, that's the same in. Pardon me, I also have a frog in my throat. In California, at like our mortuary school, I don't know if we're still getting, or if they're still getting bodies from like the county coroner, but I know that that's what we were getting to like practice embalming on, were unclaimed bodies. And now I think that all the kids have to go like get internship somewhere, which I think is much better, because everyone should learn really early what it's like to learn in a funeral home. Although if I had, my life might have been very different. But yeah, that feels weird and icky and unethical in a like, I don't like it. I suspect I understand where he found the loopholes in the law, but I'm like, I don't like that at all. That's just right.
It just feels, and I think what's the most unsettling to me too is how proud he is. You know, he's like, there's a whole, you can Google it right now. There's like 1 million articles about Ron Wade and his mummy. It's like an actual human, probably that was unclaimed here in Maryland. Yeah.
I feel like
cool
stuff like that. What were you gonna say, Melissa? You went.
No, I'm waiting for you to finish.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like stuff like that is like, it's always a litmus test, man. Like people that do stuff like that, it's like, okay, well, that in itself might not be like shady, although it does sound pretty dang shady. But like, I just always feel like, I forget, I feel like we talked about this, but I had a colleague that I worked with, and we were like using a shared facility, and we were like, you know, passing by one another, and I had commented on the fact that I was doing I had a case, and it was a small child baby that had died, and I was doing it for free. And he made like a snooty comment about how he's like, well, we still charge for baby cases because, you know, like it still costs money. And I'm like, I mean,
it's twice as much work.
Yeah, I was like, I guess that's not true. But you know, like again, I was waiting tables, and to me, I would gladly wait tables for an evening and give money to a family who's grieving, because like in that moment, I'm like, well, I am a schmuck waiting tables and doing this job, but I am not going through what they're going through. So anyways, fast forward 5 years later, and one of my friends on the Instagram, I think it was my friend Ashley, was like, did you hear about such and such mortuary? And I was like, And I thought she was referencing like an old case in Pasadena. And I was like, oh, like Lamb Mortuary or something. Yeah, that was a while ago. And then I like looked it up and I was like, wellity. If it isn't Mr. The babies cost just as much money, who had been stockpiling dead bodies during COVID and not cremating them, and finally got caught with a bunch of bodies just all over. I don't know where he was putting them, but they were not being cremated. And I thought, like, look, I don't need to be right to that terrible like level of pettiness. I'm not just like, I hope that you ruin a bunch of people's lives and keep their dead loved ones all holed up somewhere. But I wasn't surprised because I was like, yeah, like you have a shitty attitude.
Right.
Here's my cat.
Like,
Hi, kitty. Kermit is less.
This is my baby. He wants snuggles with his mama.
I love that. Yeah, like, but it's horrifying, you know? And I think that, like you said, it just really shows you who people are.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I don't know. If I wanted to get a job where I was making a lot of money, I would have made a lot of different decisions a long time ago. I think I've settled into the life of service, and service is, you know, just to serve humanity, and then obviously be a martyr about it.
Yeah, and get slapped around and beat up and punished for being a good person.
Yes.
That is the life for me. That's the karmic life I signed up for. Yep.
Yeah. But look at this great life. We have these amazing pets.
Yay.
The
Sandy's
sweet
gonna
baby.
get a pet. She's got turtles, but she's gonna foster.
Yes, we're gonna foster some puppies.
Oh, I'm very excited about the puppies.
Oh, me too. I would love to have a cat, but my partner is definitely allergic.
Get rid of the partner. Sorry.
I know.
Sorry,
Well,
it's Jen, right? Sorry, Jen.
She loves them so much. So, of course, you know, she wants nothing more in this world. One day we're going to get her allergy shots.
I was going to say, yeah, allergy shots work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're at minute 37. Are we angry about, this was nice. I came home from work and I was really tired. I actually didn't even think I was going to make it through this. I was like so sleepy, but I feel like a little like slightly more energized. Also, we did have someone named Kat who was excited to catch us live, and they just wanted to say a huge hello from Montreal Death Positive Dog Trainer. Love you guys.
Hello,
Hi, Kat.
Yes, cats. The dog trainer. So hello, cats. Sorry, she's probably gone now, but yeah.
You might come back.
Yeah. Do
Well, I was gonna
we?
shout out.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, do we want to start shouting out the like massive amount of people that have supported us and making our lives amazing?
Definitely Heidi always, because Heidi's great, being very supportive. But this today was sent to me from Life Forest.
Oh, lovely.
They created a women in death care book, and it's a death positive planner and journal, and I'd seen it on Amazon. It was in my Amazon wish list, but I'm not really good at follow through. I'm broke. So this is amazing. I'm have to send both of you a copy because they sent me 3.
Oh, yay.
Soon.
Thank you, Life
Do something
Forest.
really exciting with them, and I'm really careful about who I work closely with, obviously, because I'm working with y'all. But
Yeah.
they've sent me some little cremated remains shroud pouches.
Oh.
With, and I'm excited to also share one of those with you guys as well as soon as I make it to the post office.
Nice.
But yeah, more educational information about what Life Forest is coming soon.
Cool. And we should say, yeah, no, I was going to say, like, if people, I like say this all the time, and I don't know if people think I want money, and I'll be really, because I'll say, give me your money. So if I don't follow it up with give me your money, I'm just being nice. But like if people have events or groups or anything that they want to promote, like they should, I keep saying, like, send it to me, like send me your stuff and I'll put it in my stories or I'll give it a shout out. Cause I think that we're really lucky and really, really privileged to like have people all over. Like Kat is from Montreal. So it doesn't, like, if people aren't in Los Angeles, I mean, I have friends in Australia that I talk to all the time that do death care. Ooh, cat hair everywhere now. So
who's your favorite in Australia?
My favorite in Australia, one of them lives here now. Her name is Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got I got 3, but I'm not gonna remember everybody's name, so I'm just gonna keep it to myself till next time.
I was gonna say, I think that we should come with a list, because I have
Invite
a lot
them
of people
on.
Yeah.
Well, we'd have to, if we're gonna invite people, we have to stick to we have to train people to expect us at a certain time.
But they can always watch the uploaded version on our YouTubes later.
Well, it's true.
That's true. Yes.
But you only get to talk to us.
That's true.
That is true. I will say, I had a friend who texted me, and I'm kind of a night owl, but she was like, I'm definitely going to watch you guys live, but it is 10 o'clock at night, and I love you. She was like, I am going to bed. So I will say, we do have a lot of supporters here in Maryland. They, however, have work at 7:30 in the morning, so they have not. They watch you on YouTube.
They can watch it on YouTube on their commute or listen to it in their car on their commute. That's great.
That's right.
Yeah. We can be their morning talk radio.
Oh,
yeah.
That's an idea.
All right. Do we have anything else that we want to? I always feel like after we hang up, I'm like, oh, dang it, I wanted to. Oh, yes. If anybody watches this, I want children's books on death and children's cookbooks, because I really would like us to start. I feel like it should be like a reading rainbow pun-ish, but with children's death books, and then I wanted to do recipes that are good to do with kids, so you can talk about what you read as you cook, because I think that having kids keep their hands busy during an activity helps them process things in different ways that probably people that have studied that could explain it with real words. But I know it's true, but I have no reason to believe it's true. I'm just like, yeah, no, that's a thing.
But it also helps those with ADHD or autism too. So let's all get our hands dirty.
That's how I learned. I had like a lot of issues with people getting really upset about me not being like a note taker or like writing things down. It was very difficult because I would tell people, I was like, I can only learn by repeating an action. So I think that's probably why I am, as an adult now, so focused on like, oh, well, the cooking really helps. Cause I'm sure it's like, well, that's how I was learning things, was like by being active. So that's my shout out, is give me your books on death and children. So, yeah. All right. Anything else?
You want to shout out anything? Flower Power Fundraiser.
That's right. We do have our Flower Power fundraiser happening. And if anyone is like me, they're probably on Team Procrastination Nation for getting your garden started. But now would be an excellent time to start ordering some bulbs. We have some really pretty lilies, which are a super fun funeral flower also that you can order. And just what a great tribute to start like your own little death garden.
Morning flowers.
Morning flowers.
MOURNING.
Yes. And I made a little magazine that you can download for free on morticianinthekitchen.com, possibly /magazine. But if you just go to the front of the homepage, there is a button that says the magazine, and you can click that, and it says Flower Power, and it's got the link all over it inside of it with recipes to go with some of the seeds that you can buy, and a story about telling the bees that goes with, I don't know if you guys saw that, but I have a little write-up about telling the bees, and then it coincides with like the bee starter flower pack.
Very seed mat.
Yes, the bee seed mat. Yeah, I think I'm going to buy some stuff too. I planted a bunch of things, and then California got its only rain it ever got. It was like insane. So think all my seedlings are dead now.
So, float it away.
And then, oh, the fall. I got a cat just gave me some a book, The Fall of Freddie the Leaf. Oh, I think I know that. The Fall of Freddie the Leaf by Leo Buscaglia helped me so much as a death phobic child. So that sounds, maybe that will be our first book. So
we need to make an Amazon push.
I know. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna.
I have tried some of the recipes that are in the magazine that you have created for us. So I really hope that people follow up because they are delightful and your recipes are amazing. You put so much time and effort into all that you create. So I don't think there's enough applause in the world to cover all the hard work that you do. And the recipes you come up with are phenomenal. So huge shout out to you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Clappy.
I know. I want to use the clapping thing, but then it's just us staring into the screen while my computer loads. So, all right. I think I will end the stream. Kat, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kat.
Yeah. Make sure that you put your handle in the Instagram chat so that if I'm not following you or if we're not following you, since I'm not sure which one of us, I like, if I ever say I don't know you and I clearly talk to you all the time, I apologize. It's sometimes
same.
Yeah. Okay.
Usernames with people and it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is. I'm amazed that I can remember as many people as I have thus far. It is for someone that like, I immediately forget your name the second I meet you, unless it's your pet. If it's like, if you're like, this is Dennis, I'm like, oh, you're Dennis's mom. And then they're like, remember I told you my name 17 times? It was Jane. I'm like, nope, already forgotten. Sorry, Dennis's mom. So,
yes.
All right. I'm going to end the stream. We'll wave bye, but nobody hang up yet. And okay. And I'm going to